Good day and good afternoon, and welcome to Daily Strutting, where we talk about shoes and pre-loved luxury. And so it tends to be a lot of pre-loved shoes. Now today is a little bit about pre-loved shoes, but today is actually going to be a little discussion or talk about quiet luxury and its link into quiet luxury shoes and what that means, and whether or not that's something for you or for me. I hope you enjoy. I hope I don't bring too much tea to this conversation. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so the trouble that we get into before we even start is actually kind of defining what quiet luxury is. Some people closely link it towards minimalism and like a classic wardrobe, a time capsule wardrobe, and other people, and I think this is where the conversation lean towards, because that side is okay, that's classic, that's something that you wear over and over again in your wardrobe. So definitely there's pros to this, right? Where we get in trouble is the link with the old money versus new money aesthetic, and where recently it's kind of surged up a little bit, where you want to show that you didn't just come to money really quickly. You had money all this time, and so you want to distinguish yourself to be slightly better than the ones that just got their money. Oh cool, you can afford your Louis Vuitton monogram, whatever it's called, Alma. Making up over here. But I'm just letting you know that I've been around. I could afford that any day, but now what I can afford is something that you don't even know. Okay, it's quite luxury. If you know, and only the rich and the cool know, right? Well, actually everybody knows now. But yeah, that's kind of the side of things that's going to be really interesting. But yeah, I wrote down some notes because I definitely get carried away. Now, before I start trashing quiet luxury and quiet luxury shoes in themselves, I'll just say the pros to this. Like, there's obviously pros to having a minimalist wardrobe, something that is classic, something that works with the rest of your whether it's clothes or whether it's shoes, something that works with everything that you've got in your wardrobe that you can wear time and time again. Usually it's associated with something that's of better quality as well, so longevity is there, versatility is there, and that's something that you'll be very happy to have in your wardrobe. If it fits and if it goes with your style, perfect, right? There's no problems with that. Now, in terms of cons, for me, I might look a little bit quiet luxury in the dress that I'm wearing, and actually I've styled this in two ways, in terms of shoes, so that you see a difference. We talk about quiet luxury a lot in terms of clothing, and clothing I've kind of gone towards that route, very minimalistic, linen, off-white, nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, classic, right? And then I've styled it with two different shoes, and you kind of see the difference in both of them. One is a shoe that is new to my skin tone, so it's brown and it's a suede and it's pretty understated. Yes, it's got lots of like leather buckles, so maybe it's not so quiet luxury, but it's along that side. And then one is a bright orange Valentino Tango Pump, and both of these are my styles, but I actually am towards the bright orange Tango Pump, so it'll be a very interesting discussion with me today. I hope I'm not so biased. But in terms of like the cons of potential quiet luxury is that elitism, and I'm just going to touch it like briefly. The elitism that comes through from saying, I know what level you brought yourself up to be, good for you, but I'm going to go even another level so that it's only me and the people that have been around me the longest that get to experience this. Okay, it's tends to be expensive in terms of luxury anyway. It's, for me, it's bland. sorry for it doesn't go with some personalities, shall I say. So if you're very floral, if you're very vibrant, if you're very loud, if you're very bold, if you're very gothic, if you're very anything, that ain't gonna fit in with quiet luxury. So I guess it doesn't suit everybody's style, and everybody can have a piece or two in the wardrobe that is very classic, right? In the neutrals, in the quiets, and all of that. But I feel like having an entire wardrobe, if it's not your personality, I think it actually takes away from your style. And definitely would take away from my style as well. I'm just going to put it out there. Apologies, by the way, for the lighting. I'm actually using natural light from outside so you can see the shades and all of that. I hope you don't mind. But I wanted to actually talk a little bit about why there is quiet luxury, and if you've heard me hinting about it in a not so subtle and nice way, about how you want to be better than somebody else, so you find something that they can't get to. Anyway, I think this is all kind of like with the influx of lots of people, I think with the rise of social media and with the rise of black women in luxury, asterisks that, yeah, there have been, and with like afterpay, credit cards, all of those things, there's been more opportunities and more access for lay people, you and me, for people that have not had, you know, fourth, fifth generational wealth embedded in them, for us to be able to afford these things. So we've had more access to these things. So now you see me, one second, you know, with my Valentino Tango pumps that I would not have been able to afford were it not for pre-loved fashion. That's for me as well. Were it not for some people, they might not be able to afford this unless they were using a buy now pay later scheme, or, you know, they've done really well for themselves. A lot of black women in fashion now, there's a whole lot of them that are doing fantastic things. So they've made success in this lifetime, and so now they're able to afford these luxuries and enjoy them and show them. A very big example of that is the Christian Louboutin shoe, the Red Sole. It was very popular, and then it was like the epitome of, you know, popularity and wealth, and I made it. If I know that I've made it, if I'm a successful businesswoman, if I'm a successful person that has done everything that they can, I'm going to reward myself with a red bottom, usually the Solcate or the what's the other one, Pigalle Follies, right? And then even people used to go for the neutral and the black so that they would make it classic. So for a long time those shoes were considered classic in those shades, but now Christian Louboutin in itself is not considered, you know, quiet luxury because there's a giant red bottom, and because so many people were actually able to attain that item. So now we want something even more quiet. Now we don't even consider just the nude Pigalle Follies. We're like, no, that's still too loud. Everybody will know. It's only meant to be an if you know, you know, you know, and everybody knows the red bottom. So we gotta find something else that is more exclusive. I am getting rambly. I'm very much getting rambly. And I think a lot of people, when they were excited about the purchases that they've made, excited about the, I guess, the careers that they managed to do well and to be successful, they would want to get something that maybe is a show of status. Maybe you get the monogrammed Louis Vuitton puffer jacket. Maybe you get the monogrammed Gucci belt, and I don't know, there's a whole lot of monogrammed stuff. You get those things that tell you straight away this is an expensive piece. And so I guess as a response to that, people have gone, no, let's lean away. And even if it's just you being fed up with seeing the logo everywhere, right? I'm not a fan of the monogram, but I'm a fan of loud colors and prints and other things, right? So even I think there were people that were just like, okay, I'm a little bit fed up with this, so I'm gonna go for something a bit more classic, and that's fine. But the trouble is where those people started saying old money versus new money. What's the difference? Don't you both have money? I don't have money. I want to be both, like both of you. But you're making a distinction over here to say, if you worked hard in this lifetime and you've just gotten yourself your hands on money and now you can use it to enjoy the luxuries of this world, you're not that good enough as somebody who is a fourth generation person who gets to just live life off the money that their great-great-grandparent made. So who's better off here? Who's the one that actually is hardworking? Who's the one that actually deserves all these luxuries? Do you know what I mean? You can't gatekeep luxury, and that's what's happening. And I think that's where the trouble is. So, you know, lots of talking over here. I hope that makes sense. And obviously for myself as a black person that enjoys luxury shoes, and you've seen my channel, if you haven't, click on my channel, you will see most of my shoes ain't quite luxury shoes, okay? I'm just saying. So for me, I'm kind of a little bit passionate. Oh, mind you, most of my shoes are pre-loved, if not all of them are pre-loved. So it's not that I came in as a hardworking, you know, person that deserves to have quite luxury. No, I found a way that I found my own way to access these luxury pieces at a discount with great quality, and for me to enjoy my style as well. It just happens to be now I feed into it, or I'm a part of all of this, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I've done a lot of talking. Let's actually go through examples of what is considered quiet luxury in terms of shoes, okay? So we've got our loafers. Loro Piana. I think Gucci horsebit loafers, some people don't consider that quite luxury because everybody's had them before. But whatever. We've got our ballet flats, sometimes the Chanel ones. We've got our kitten heels, and we've got our mules, also kitten heel. I'm sorry. This breaks my soul. This breaks my soul. Those are the shoes that we really want. So anyway, let me put my phone down and I will show you. I've got some examples. Okay, so these are my well, the closest three that I could grab as to exemplify quiet luxury. And actually, funny enough, two of them are Nine West and one is some Eromen, and I think they're like sister brands. Anyway, I watched a video on YouTube about how to like get that aesthetic of quiet luxury shoes, and it talked a lot about, you know, demure colors, the neutral colors. So I've got a navy, I've got a brown tan suede, and I've got a very pale pink if you wanted to go into color, and all of these are suede. All of these are quite minimalistic, block heel, basically shoes that you can see somebody going to work in. And actually they were talking a lot about the height of the heel. So this is probably safe. This is probably going a bit far because kitten heels are more preferred. And this, while it is in a suede classic pump, there's not too much happening. Only the logos on there, so you don't really see it when you're wearing it. The height of this shoe might disqualify it for some people, but you know, it's the idea. So this is quiet luxury. What's not quiet luxury, give me a second, you ready? Is the rest of my entire shoe collection. Tell me what's wrong with all of this. Okay, so we've got too much happening with the straps, way too much. It's a giant platform, and also it's in a ridiculous color, right? Very bright, very vibrant. It's very Barbie core, it's very Valentino pink. There's just too much happening in this shoe, so this would be tossed out. That was a gentle toss onto the bed. Okay, we're not gonna ruin my shoes. Lower to the ground, still too much happening. It's too much highlight, too much things. Who wears a flamingo on their heel? This is not quite luxury. Okay, I was wearing these shoes, so I'm gonna put these back on. Too bright, too platform, too high off the ground. There's just too much happening in this shoe. This is not quite luxury. You know, last example over here, brought in a socate. I was going to bring in the socate in the black suede, kind of balancing it out to go this is in between, but actually no, it's been deemed no longer quite luxury, can't even say anymore, because of the red soles. It's too noticeable, and because too many people have them, too many lay people have them. This is even worse. There's glitter all over. It's too much color happening, way too high, way too much of a statement. Okay, this is not classic, this is not modest, this is not quiet luxury. Okay, so we want our kitten heels, our loafers, our ballet flats, and our mules. So all in all, I don't think I'll be able to do quiet luxury, to be honest. I can do ballet flats. I think of all of those things, that's the least terrifying thing to me. That's the least gross thing to me. Yeah, I can do ballet flats, but I can't fully commit. So I guess at the end of all of this, I think if you have an aesthetic that you like, that means, you know, more minimalistic, more time capsule wardrobe, more neutrals, that's perfectly fine. I actually appreciate that. That means that's your thing, right? If you look at Victoria, if you look at Tamara, these guys lean towards those things, and sometimes they pull out something with a lot of color, but their styles are very much, you know, classics, suits, you know, neutrals. So that's their style, and I really love that. But they're not going around and saying, I got old money versus you got new money. They're not going around implying that because you afford this or because you identify with this, it makes you a better person and a better human being than somebody who does the loud stuff. I think that has to be mentioned in this conversation. And if we just talk about old money versus new money without delving into that, it really means nothing. It's just words, right? But we have to kind of talk about where it's come from and why some people don't sit well with this new terminology. Let's call it minimalism versus, you know, fun, flamboyant personalities in fashion, right? Let's call it that and be like, yeah, cool, you're more of an outgoing. I'm definitely more of an outgoing. I'll definitely go with that. versus saying new money and quiet and all of those things. I think those words and those implications of where those things started are not very great in terms of humanity. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Share your thoughts with me. I think we're going to get into some interesting debates. I say all of this with love, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.